Right, welcome back. It is another Thursday. It is Agent Tactics Thursday. My guest today is somebody I've looked up to in the video space for a long time. She's always hustling. I could not say enough nice things about her, although she's mean to me sometimes. Welcome the lovely Katie Day.
I thought you were gonna say welcome to the love of your life or something. I when you started saying love, I got a little
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, I love your dog. Obviously, we have, our
Cousin dogs
dogs
or sibling
are
dogs.
related. I love your children. I love, your Ryan Steer. He's wonderful. And then there's Katie Day.
Love you, bro. Awesome. Hey, thanks for having me. For those of you that don't know, Jeremy and I have known each other for a while, and we do truly enjoy each other's company. But what we enjoy more is making fun of each other. So, we
100%.
don't hate each other, although it may seem like it as we move through this week's call.
Yeah. So, all right, Katie, I want to get into a few topics around video. I mean, you do it all, right? You have a really active Instagram. You have a new Instagram channel that I really want to talk about. We'll call it the Bill Olson style because we featured it here a while ago. You've taken that and seen some massive success on your Instagram with that. I've done it on mine. I'm seeing success. So we'll talk about kind of some of your top tips for that. I want to go through and you're talking about YouTube. You've done YouTube. We'll go through the whole gamut. So let's start. If I wanted to get in and start getting leads almost immediately from video, which way am I going?
So that's tough, right? I think that Instagram, I'm having a lot of fun with this new Instagram channel. And I don't know if Jeremy can hear me still or not, but I know that Jeremy is having fun with it as well. Um, but Instagram videos like disappear after a while, right? Like they're still on your feed, they're still out there, but their relevancy disappears. And so while I love this new style content and I'm really enjoying building out, an audience and an email list and doing the things, YouTube still, I think, is the premier platform to build a long lasting video business, right? They both have their pros and cons. The Bill Olson style videos are very easy to do. You can do them low production quality. You can bang out a ton of them at once, right? YouTube takes more thought, more time. You do have to have higher production quality, especially as you go, right? I think Jeremy has seen that with his channel. So I still vote YouTube as a better lead source and a better long-term lead source, but Instagram is a lot of fun to build out and can be very successful as well. But you have to keep creating content. Like you can't stop. And with YouTube, a lot of our great YouTube agents start and stop, right? Like Jeremy and I know at a certain point you were doing 2 videos a week, doing a live and a
Yeah,
produced video. I don't think you're doing that now,
no.
but like you've gone through ebbs and flows, right? I would assume, like most YouTube creators, no one can be Ken Pozuk. So
Yeah, yeah. That requires a lot of systems to do what
yeah,
Ken Posick does. And you really, really have to enjoy creating that much content and really, really enjoy the content you do. Before she got on, or hit play here or record, we were talking about how, like, even for me, as somebody who it's a major piece of my business, there's times where I'm just like, I don't want to create any more YouTube content. I'm good. Like, I want to take a break. But the good thing about YouTube is, like, let's say you spent 5 years like I have doing YouTube. If I were to take a month, 2 months off from doing YouTube, my views would come down, but the relevance of those videos, the people seeing those videos isn't necessarily going to stop. To your point, if I stop making content on Instagram, Instagram's going to start promoting other feeds.
yeah. And if you're doing the news type content, right?
Mhm.
At a certain point, if you're not doing it, like yeah, there's no relevancy, right? So the quantity matters, I think, on Instagram.
I'm curious, we'll stay on the YouTube topic. So, I've done a ton of different styles of YouTube. You've worked with a lot of people, and we've both helped to mentor people in our space at Real with content. You have plenty of people going to be at REVB talking YouTube content. What YouTube content and you even said that you're starting a new YouTube channel. What do you think is the content style that would really resonate with an audience and start creating business quickly, and or which style would you think most agents should be focusing on?
It's one of two things. One is talking head style contents, and then two is home tours. But those are not the same channel. Those are separate channels, in my opinion. But it's
Mm-hmm.
either home tours or um, the talking head style, like what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sorry, my cord is falling out of my mic, and I'm trying to get it reconnected. So yeah, it would be one of those two things: talking head style or
Home
property
tours.
tours.
When you say home tours, what does that look like?
I mean, I think Raj Sahu is the gold standard for property tours, you know, and the amount that he's done, just with new construction. You know, I think that while it's a different platform, you know, Roland, Osage, and Matt Patullo, and Summer Hudson, and lots of other people are doing longer form TikTok tours, and so that could go on YouTube as well and be something that would work on YouTube as well. But what I think the common theme is between Matt and Roland and Summer and Raj is that as they present these homes, whether it's produced very well like Raj's are or somewhere in between, like Matt and Roland, or Summers are raw. She does zero editing, right? So there's a whole kind of spectrum in which you could be from highly produced to completely authentic. Um, at the end of the day, they are telling what they think about the property. So like when you go do a listing video, Carlos goes to do a listing video. He's like, this is the most amazing 5 bedroom house in XYZ neighborhood, right? Like, or if you want to spend $500,000, then you have to check out this amazing home. And it's like, you're there selling that home because the seller is paying you thousands of dollars to sell that property, right? But like when they're touring these homes, sometimes even when they're listings, like they're talking about, hey, like I really like this floor plan because it's open, but one thing I don't like is that the dining room's over here. You know, I might switch it up if I lived here, and they're telling how they truly feel, which is also how you'd be touring a home when you're with a buyer. And so I think that that level of honesty throughout the video and not salesy throughout the video really resonates with potential buyers and also with sellers. Another person who does the property tours very well is Sam RP out of Boston.
Out of Boston?
Boston.
Boston. You know, does a really good job too. Ksenia on Instagram.
Yep.
She does an
Yep. Yep.
amazing job. And look, what's interesting about what you're saying about the property tours is there's so many different ways to actually do just that in itself, right? So, you know, you said that Raj was the gold standard. Raj has not, his face has not been in a single frame of video. And he basically has somebody go through and film it for him, and then he voiceovers the property, right? And so, and then you have that. Roland Osage is very similar, but it's him walking around. He'll like wave in the mirror. He'll say like, "What up?" or something like that in the mirror. So now his
Well,
audience, good.
and when Raj shot his videos, he would do that,
Yeah.
right? But he basically discovered, hey, here's the blueprint. Here's how you do it. And actually, since I'm only doing voiceover, I don't need to go shoot these. I could pay someone to go shoot them and get more done quicker, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, obviously from a standpoint of efficiency, the way Raj has done it is by far, I think, the most efficient way to do that. You know, so moving over to maybe talking head style. Rod Alawan's on here. No camera for him, but Rod, his Instagram. So he does YouTube at a very, very high level, Rod. It's more of a talking head, but his Instagram videos, if you haven't seen some of his Instagram videos, I got to give him major props. We just got to work on him saying like, hey, make sure you DM X if you DM this if you want more about this area, or because his video content is superb. I mean, the guy was a newscaster for a while, so it's
ah,
no
that makes
wonder
sense.
he's
That
he,
makes sense.
he's so natural on camera.
Yeah,
But
what a
he'll
guy.
even tell you, you don't have to be a previous newscaster. You just have to tell people, you know, who, what, when, where, and why, right? If you just nail those things in a topic, you'll get views on it. Um, let's see here. So so in the comment section, I want to hear from you. What are your major questions for Miss Katie Day? Mrs. Katie Day? Steer Day? Miss Katie Day. So I want to hear what questions you do have for her as we roll through here, and we'll definitely ask those questions. All right. So if I'm starting content right now, you're talking property tours. How many property tours for long form or short form should I be making a week in order to start getting business?
So, when you're looking at like the Instagram or TikTok property tours, you definitely need to go for more quantity. I think though it's daunting to say, hey, Jen, go start shooting a property tour every single day. Like, you may one week go out and get three or four or five done, but then like the next week things come up and like you're not doing five a week kind of thing. So I normally talk to agents about doing one a week, right? And going out and maybe shooting two or three. So you post one a week, post one a week, post one a week. And once you get into a good rhythm there, then you start to do two a week, then you start to do three a week. I think that 3 to 5 short form property tours, like vertical property tours is the way to go. Um, but I know that that's like a longer term goal to get to that point. And that's normally when you'd be going either to communities or to new construction or to places where you could shoot two or three within a very short period of time. Like if you live in a more rural area where properties are very far away from each other, it probably isn't feasible to say you're producing 3 to 5 a week. It'd probably be, 1 to 3.
Yeah. And doing a longer video explaining more, right? Because if we think about it, if you're creating 5 1 minute videos or a minute and a half videos, that's, 12 minutes. Well, if you can't do 5 videos a week, but you did one 12-minute video that hit really well, right? And you talked about the right things, you could probably get even more views on that. As far as just like duration of time on the video.
Yeah.
Rod, I can see your beautiful face, man. Hey, I want to hear about your Instagram. Now that you're on here and I can see your beautiful face, I'm going to pull up your Instagram in a second. Tell us what you're doing with it and tell us where you're struggling. Cause I think this is the big thing. We always talk about, oh, this is the cool stuff, but I want to hear where you're struggling. And I want to come back to Katie about, how to convert some of these leads.
Yeah, so can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, cool. It's more of a new style, kind of like, you're doing and Katie's doing and Bill's doing and Ken's doing. So I think that's where the added value is. And, I got really hooked on that 4 years ago. And like you can give people information without asking for it directly back. Like I say, hey, um, you know, I'm a realtor, call me right now. And you're giving them value. So that's my direction. And yeah, I know to, yeah, I know to what we had talked about when we had Bill on and the other guy from California, I can't remember his name right now, but this
Eric
is,
Lee.
kind of right. You have to ask for, I mean, not ask, but either put it at the end of the post or put a line that says, hey, I'm keeping track of, Houston, so you don't have to. If you're interested in buying or selling, reach out to me. That's the one thing I haven't. I do that in my YouTube videos in the middle or toward the end, but I do not yet do that on Instagram. But I know that I have to.
Katie,
But I
look at your,
do. I'm. We're getting ready to close on our fourth lead from Instagram next month. So it has been a source, but I do feel like, yeah, I do feel like I know I have to do that. I'm just trying to figure out, okay, what is it? I think the less intrusive way would be to put it at the end of the video. Um, but yeah, but I have fun with this. I love to do stuff on site. You notice I do a lot of stuff on site. It's because I can feel it. I'm there. I'm sure green screen works as well as it does for a lot of you guys. But me, I just kind of like, man, I have to be there. And it's just being on site. It may take a little bit more time, but I love the kind of like look live approach.
I'm curious, Katie, looking at Rod's, IG here. I mean, 10,000 followers. He's does like there are not realtors following him, right? So, and he's in a smaller market than Austin, right? He's kind of sandwiched between Austin and San Antonio. So not a very big market, but we're looking at videos with 112,000 views, 88,000 views, 14,000 views on topics that, are not Houston topics, not Dallas, San Antonio, or Austin topics. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on him? How could he convert a little bit more on here?
Yeah. So kudos to you for not asking for business and already having 4 leads coming in. That's amazing. Couple of things that come to mind for me, Rod. Jeremy, can you scroll back up to the top?
Yeah.
All right. So there are, if I were to come across your profile, right? Obviously, if I'm seeing a video, then maybe I know that you're talking about, something that's in hill country, right?
Mhm.
But where are you located?
Ah,
Right?
yeah.
I would have no idea. Like if I were to click on your profile, I don't know who you are, right? Other than I'm like, oh hey, like he's talking about this thing in New Braunfels, right? Like obviously I know that because I know you. But sorry, I'm trying to find where I can.
So I gotta brush up my profiles.
So here, Jeremy, can you allow me to share my screen?
Yeah, it should.
So stop. Well, just stop sharing yours because I'm trying to find the annotate button and I can't find it. All
There
right. So, all right. In here, basically, you can change your name or add in text after your name here to say, like, New Braunfels expert or whatever, however you want to word it. Right. And then this is also searchable. And so the reason why I'm bringing that up is if someone was going in the search bar and typing in, New Braunfels or whatever, like then you could also
Mm.
come up in that search. And with all of these views that you're getting on these videos, right? People likely are searching for things. The other thing that you can add in here is I would add in a bio, right? And so you want your bio to be basically kind of bullet pointed out who you are and what you do, right? And then a CTA. So I would have something like, your real estate resource or something like that, right?
Sure, sure, sure. Okay.
And then even if that's your tagline of keeping up with what's happening so you don't have to. And then I would have a call to action, right? Like sign up for my email list or let's work together or whatever. And then I would have www.yourrealestatewebsite.com here because you can add a link. And so what I would do is I would link this either to like a link tree or a link in bio type thing, or I would link it to like what I would probably do is link it to like some sort of thing where people could just go to a contact form. So maybe it's a contact form on your website, right? To where they can type in their information to work with you. And then they could also, if they click off of the contact form, then they would see other websites and other things that perhaps you have, right? So I would have something like this. I have on mine, if you go to like move me to Texas, which here. Sorry, I'm trying to clear my drawings. Like if I go to this page, right? I'm the Move into Texas team lead at Real Brokerage. I'm the founder of Houston Unlocked, buying or selling. Here's a little arrow, work with our team. And then you click this and it goes to our website,
Nice.
right? So if someone clicks on my profile, they know I'm in Houston, right? They know, agent or consumers don't care, but if they're an agent, they're like, oh, she's at Real, that's cool, right? And then here is if you are buying or selling, I want you to work with our team and I want you to click here, right? Oh, I forgot the period. Same thing, looking to buy, sell, or invest. So
Oh, it's
Nice.
crazy about that IG page is that's only what, 4 months old, 3 months old, maybe less than that, 2 months old, and you're at 5,000.
yeah. So here, Jeremy and I, Austin, Texas. This is searchable. So if I search for Austin, Texas realtor, he might come up, right? And then it's saying here, he's a relocation expert. He has 17K YouTube subscribers. If you want to talk real estate, you call him. The only thing I would say is I would have some sort of call to action here instead of saying real broker. I would have, call. I would probably have like call to talk real estate or click here or something, right?
Hmm. Okay.
Because you have basically 4 lines that you can fill,
Gotcha.
right?
I
So
mean,
just
that
think.
helps out immensely. Yeah. I
So
mean,
that would,
it's
yeah. So Rod, like that would be part of it. Is just like I'm sure if you go into your videos and you go into the insights and you click on the insights, you'll see that a ton of people are going to your profile. Like they watch a video, they go to your profile. They watch a video, they go to your profile. But if it's completely blank, they're like, oh, this Rod guy, like he seems cool, and then they click off and go on something else, right? But if they're like, oh, like that's interesting, and look at all this stuff, wonderful, click, right? Um, you know, Jeremy, if you're not too hot on YouTube right now and you're not putting out a ton of content on YouTube, you know, maybe don't plug your YouTube and your Instagram bio, right?
Right.
You know, so it's like, what are the things that would be relevant to to your target audience? And then I'm sure Bill talked about this a few weeks ago, but like then Rod, like I would start to do some stuff in stories, and I know you already do stories, but I would do some stuff on stories of like, oh, check out these new construction homes. Oh, look, I went on a listing appointment today. Oh, check this out. I was working with a client, you know, that a previous client that is looking to sell their property and move up. Oh, hey, I'm working with a client that now has a home, but now they want to invest too. And put that stuff in the story so that you start to train people to realize, oh, hey, he also sells real estate. That's cool, right? And so by doing these stories, like Bill has done on his personal page, like Jeremy is doing on his personal page, like you're doing on your personal page, is great. You know, Ken with the Orlando Reel or me with this Houston Unlock page, I have to build the trust first. Like I can't be like, oh, I'm a real estate agent if you want to buy or sell, right? So on my page, I've been playing around with the CTA a little bit. And so if we go to these, basically all I've been asking for is for them to follow, right?
Mhm.
And then now I'm starting to ask for emails, which no one commented on this, but like, and then like I'm going to start changing the CTA, right? But like for now, all I'm asking for is, hey, follow, hey, follow, hey, follow. I'm gonna ask for emails once or twice. Hey, follow, 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 right? So you've got to direct people to what you want them to do.
So if I haven't, if the YouTube page is obviously active, that's something else I can drop in that profile.
I mean, if you want people to go there, that could be your only call to action. But like, you want the call to action to be something that people would actually do. And so, if I could type, and I just realized I'm not sharing my screen. So I was talking about something earlier, and you guys couldn't see it. So an example would be, so for Shane Bergman, here's he pushes people to his YouTube channel, but then he also has another link. And so you can go to his YouTube or you can go to his link tree from here. But same thing, he has 4 lines. So he sells 60 homes a year. He's a veteran. He's a husband and father, and he has a YouTube channel. And he's a Space Coast realtor and listing specialist. Right? So you could have your YouTube and a link tree, or your YouTube and your website, but you don't want to give people 17 options. Like, you know, I see somewhere it's like, call me or DM me or email me or click here or do this or do that. And it's like, it's confusing. And you know this from YouTube, right? Like you have one call to action. Is it commenting? Is it sharing? Is it this? Is it that? You can't tell them to comment, share, you know, subscribe, like it, and do all the things. You have to give clear direction.
Rod, I'm curious. I mean, you do really, really well on YouTube. What's your call to action on YouTube?
Just real estate resource. I mean, if you're thinking about moving here or selling a home here, I mean, I'd love to be a real estate resource of choice. You can email me, you can call me, or you can shoot me a text. So, pretty basic.
What part of the video do you put that in? The very beginning?
No, I mean, on the ultimate guide thing I did 2 or 3, one toward the beginning, one in the middle, and kind of one at the end, because it was a longer video. And you know, if I tell people about neighborhoods, I'll say, listen, if you reach out to us, we can help you dial it and that type stuff. But yeah, the call to action is typically toward the end, but I know I probably need to put that somewhere in the middle or closer to the beginning. I do tell people in the beginning, look, if you're joining us for the first time, thanks for hopping aboard, because every week we're putting out relevant and timely information just like this about what it's like to live in New Braunfels. I do say that at the beginning. But as far as, you know, call to action, there is a subscribe button that comes up when I'm saying that. So it's inferred that, hey, if you want this, you can subscribe. I just don't say it.
I'm curious, Katie, if you want to pull up Jamie's. He's scared of his of you looking at his.
Jamie, are you open to me pulling it up?
Absolutely. I was kind of hoping you'd start me up.
You said it, and then now I was like, he's just sitting there. Is it okay?
Agents.
So I know you have more than one page.
Yeah, I have the
But
realtor
this is
pin
the
now. Yeah,
page.
that one too. Yeah, I probably need it. I like your suggestion on adding your in under like by Jamie Knight right there, adding the realtor searchable content right there. Yeah, I'm gonna make that change for sure.
So the other thing that I would say is I get it. I understand why you did this, but I would put your face here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. So I would have this
That's
be your
not his
face.
face.
Or a different picture of your face where you can see your eyes better. Since it's a side profile, so it's
Yeah.
harder to see his eyes.
Very dark when you turn me to the side.
So yeah, I would change that. Um, you know, as far as this goes, kind of the same thing. Like, I would try to bullet point this out, right? So if you have this up here, then perhaps you can have a better lines, right? My question would be, what's the difference between this and this? Can you hear him? Or
Oh,
I can't
yes.
hear him.
Yeah, let's see.
That was like
I
a
see what you're saying.
regional area, so
okay. So
Yeah, I
Lafayette's the
see.
city,
I
and
see
then
what
this
you're
is the
saying.
region.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be like Houston versus I don't know, like the Woodlands or something.
Is it
Yeah.
like we have South Central Texas? So is it?
Yeah, it's kind of like it describes our regional area, I guess.
I gotcha.
Lafayette and surrounding areas, basically.
Yeah. I always just think about like local people probably know that, but if someone were moving to the area, they may not, right? And so, you know, Jeremy, what's like the neighborhood you live in, or
I'm in Dripping Springs. Yeah.
yeah. So if he was like, you know, Dripping Springs, like people may not know that. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, right? But like Jeremy has Austin, you know, kind of. So I would just think maybe you put one of those up here, and then have, you know, but again, like this is a little hard to read, so I would think about, can you separate this out into 4 lines? And so I think like someone who does a like, so I know Phil, he has a lot of jobs, right? So like he's a real estate expert, business coach, and speaker. He's a co-founder of his team, a creator of this coaching program, and he's a certified guide. And so all of these little, you know, apps, those are all clickable. And so like your podcast, Jamie has an Instagram, right?
Yeah, it's Real South Agents, that one
Yep.
is.
So like maybe it's that
Oh,
you
gotcha.
have your realtor up here, right? And then down here you have, you know, podcaster at da 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 da, you know. Then you have you know, I mean then you have, you know, father of 4, why can't I? Twin dad. And then you have, you know, lifelong like I don't know what order you want them in, and then you have lifelong resident, you know, kind of thing. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah, love that.
Because especially if like podcaster, okay, that's interesting, but like, you know, if I don't know what it is, you know, then if you have it the at, then people are like, oh, like let me click on this and see what it is. So
Yeah,
that'd be kind of my thoughts as far as optimizing the profile.
love that.
To me, that looks like, I mean, it's just a lot of stuff crammed in there, so I would give up looking.
Yeah, a little hard to read, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then the only other thing here is for these, you can add cover photos to your highlights. So I know I'm trying to think of someone who I know that has done a good job.
Yeah, I did something different with that pod page, with the podcast page.
Do you have one on
just
the?
Yeah, I did like letters on there. Like some people comment about that, the way I did that.
Yeah. So
On the Instagram page for the podcast, the / Real South Agents. Yeah, watch.
so the only problem
Like I did,
is
yeah.
then if you put anything else or edit them, then they move in order.
Yeah.
So if you put a new one under nice, then it says Nagit
Right.
or taggin, right? So that would be the only thing there. But yeah, so you're aware of how to add. And see, look at this one.
Much better.
This one looks great. Far easier to read. So yeah. And you got your face here.
Oh yeah, two different sites, two different
Yeah, I have 2
pages.
pages.
Oh,
Yeah, I put Agent Tactics on its own thing and left my Jeremy Knight the same, which I may have to change that even because this whole this whole newsy content stuff that I've been doing is Jeremy Knight. I might need to change it to like Austin Traveler or something like that to make it a little more sense.
Well, but like Jeremy for the like Bill and Rick and like, all have been able to go to ask for the business way faster.
Mm,
So I
yeah.
don't know that I would change it. Like if people,
Interesting story. I got a call from Rick yesterday. Panicked. He did a video. So this is like our newsy style videos. You do have to be cognizant of what we say in these videos. And he, of course, calls me because apparently I'm used to controversy. Whatever. Um, so he did a video, and I can pull it up in a sec. He did a video about Long Beach, and the city council basically passed all of this stuff without voter approval. And he's like, "Hey, do you think it's fair that they passed all this and they're going to do this without voter approval?" The mayor, his team reached out and wants to interview him so they can set the record straight. And as a conversation went forward, I'm looking at what they're saying. They want to have a say in the story that gets out about what they are doing because obviously they are doing something slightly shady, and they're kind of attacking Rick for it. And Rick's like, "What do I do?" I'm like, "You go to the meeting, you have the meeting, you post the meeting, and then you give your thoughts on the meeting. That's it. That's what you do." And he's like, "But like I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. Like they're trying to silence your voice because you talked about
yeah,
something that they didn't
yeah,
want, like they want to control the narrative." So,
yeah.
and I could tell you with like the newsy stuff that I've kind of transitioned to, Katie, you've transitioned to. I get a lot of DMs from people like, "Hey, did you know about this project?" And I get a lot of DMs like, I mean, I'm getting a lot of business actually from Instagram from that style. Like it's crazy how much we're starting to get. But what is this one,
I
Katie?
dropped the post. That's
Oh, did he call you too?
yeah, yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll share this. It's actually, I mean, it was a great post. I'll share sound. There we
Yeah.
go. Let's see.
Center's development plan,
It's-
PC 56, unlocking up to 1,500 new homes and raising building heights in places like Fashion Island. No construction yet, but the groundwork is laid. The Irvine company, who's been quiet in Newport for years, is suddenly reinvesting heavily. Why? Because the area has been designated as a housing opportunity zone under California's housing mandate. This isn't just about new homes, it's about power shifting. Green light bypassed. Public vote not required. Developers now have a path to build without usual red tape, and as long as they play by the density rules, this is going to reshape Newport Center and fast. So the question is, are you ready for what's coming? Follow for the next update. This is just the beginning. A massive land play just got
So
greenlit.
like even like the city council
That's great.
person commented on here and said he was like doing clickbaity fake news. The DMs that he got were like, "You're doing clickbaity fake news." But I mean, I don't think there was nothing else. There was no lie in there. Yeah, right here.
Clickbait, that's
Fake
the legacy
news.
media.
Yeah, this was
I mean,
the
that's
city official. Fake news, maybe attended a city council meeting before posting clickbait. Like, what a shitty way. Like, they're doing something wrong if that's how they're responding.
Well, and that's what's going on here in Texas. They've got legislation that's been proposed that if an area is zoned multi-use, they can just go and put in housing. They can go without going through the process, and that's a big. Actually, I'm going to the state of the city for Georgetown today, and that's one of the things they'll talk about is that if that goes through, the cost will, instead of being on the developer, will then become on the taxpayer. And I mean, it's just a big mess. And so, yeah, you got to make noise because otherwise they're just going to do what they want. But that's interesting to see how much resistance they've gotten.
No, you're 100% right. I think these new style, look, this is the best added value, no doubt. Media, how people see media, like older than 50 or 60, see it as ABC, CBS, and that's no longer the case. TV has, I've said this on the podcast before, Jeremy, has been dying on the vine for years because the advertising dollar is split up in so many more ways. Like local people like you and Katie and Bill and Ken, all these guys, all you guys are hyper local. So you not only get to it, but you can get to it at 5 in the morning or post it at 6 in the morning. How many people, we talked about this, how many people turn on their TV when they wake up in the morning?
Yeah.
One
no
out
one.
of 10, maybe. 1 out of 10. How
My
many
wife.
open up their social media?
Me.
Yeah, I mean, that's where people are going. And you're right about the city council. It's a bunch of the stuff. People just they want that bubble. They want that control. And the only way to get a response is the way you're doing it now, because you get quicker reaction that way.
Yeah, I love it. Well, cool. Let's pivot a little bit here. Katie, we were started off by talking, Instagram, YouTube, which one was the best one? I'm curious who's got questions for Katie before I actually go into my next question. Carlos, what do you got? Who else do we got on here? Ray, you got any good questions? Tomcat.
I got one. So, Katie, I've seen your name come up several times in the last week. What is it that you think that you're just doing so well that you're in demand? I know that's like, I don't want to look like an egoist, but really, seriously, what are you doing?
I mean, I think what the thing that I've been talking about lately has been the Instagram strategy. You know, Jeremy and I and Rick and I and a bunch of us like talk about this stuff pretty frequently. Bill, like we all talk about it pretty frequently and with each other. And like there's nothing really that compelling about what I mean, Rick's videos, obviously like the production quality is really good, but like me, Bill, Jeremy, like they're not great videos. It's just the quantity and speed at which they're happening, right? And so it's like I think people get in their way of like, oh, I need a camera, or oh, I needed this, or oh, I needed that before I start. And like, I don't know about you, Jeremy, with your first YouTube videos, but like my first YouTube videos were shot on my phone, right? Like these videos I'm doing on Instagram are shot on my phone, right? Like, I think it's just the quantity and then the speed at which we're doing it.
100% content. I mean, just the content. Get the content out there. You don't need a Nikon camera or whatever, 2000, whatever. It's just like Katie said. It's just your phone, the content, and if it's relevant to your area, that's it. And consistency.
Yeah. I mean, it is being the digital mayor, I guess, of your town that I think is what drives it, right? The content is what's really important though. Are you, whether you're doing property tours or whether you're doing newsy info, does it relay a message, right? What is the message? Rod and I were having this conversation the other day. He was talking about, man, the prices in Brumfels hit 300K. And I was like, man, is your video going to be about like the opportunity for people? And he was like,
And I turned it to include that. So thank you.
yeah. And I think because here's the thing is like fear, like the videos that do best for Katie and I just on Instagram are the videos that are going to cause inconvenience, right? Travel inconvenience, transportation inconvenience, a new development that's going to cause more traffic or more headache, inconvenience. Those videos do really, really well. And when we talk about like YouTube videos, when we're talking about talking head videos, it's so easy to sell inconvenience. The thing is like, why is like, Reventure or some of these like the market crashing videos doing so well? Well, people want the inconvenience. And it almost scares some people into doing what they should be doing, which is buying and holding anyway. So it's our job to take the information and say, hey, look, you don't have to buy, but here is the history of people that have bought and where they are now, right? And they're usually better well off if they bought a home or if they did this or did this type of investing. So it's our job to make sure maybe we're not necessarily always scaring people, but giving relevant information, because at the end of the you know, I-35 expansion will be done in year 2200, right? It's going to be great for those people well past our lives, Rod.
Yeah.
Mr. I-35 guy, Tomcat. All right, what are the questions we got for Katie Day? Marlene, you always have good questions when I have conversations with you. I want to hear a good question out of you.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah,
putting you on the spot.
I just got like hives.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I guess for me that I'm very new to video, I'm in a brand new market. And sorry, I hopped on late to this call. I moved from Miami to the Orlando market. It's going to be now 3 years, so very new. Really haven't done a lot of videos before other than you know, property videos, and I have a great there. I mean, one of the agents here who's also in Tom Ferry, Ken Pozak, is like the king here of videos in Orlando. So what would you all recommend that I start?
Great question.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, I've talked to other agents in Orlando and they're like, oh, well, since Ken does YouTube, I shouldn't do YouTube. But at the end of the day, like you still close business and you still close deals, and they do too, and so do hundreds or probably thousands of other realtors, right? So I think that it just depends on what your bandwidth is and what interests you more, you know. So you can, I think it falls into certain buckets right now of things that are working. So it's like hyper local information, right? Similar to the news stuff, whether it's green screen, like what Jeremy and I are doing, or, you know, kind of on scene stuff like what Rod is doing, and someone who I think is doing a really good job with local content as well as Alyssa Kernot. And so she's doing more on site stuff, but like less reporty and more kind of here, let me find one. Like she's like, hey, okay, you know, you've been waiting, da 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 da. I don't think I share it with the video with sound. And so, you know, there's some drone, there's some Google Earth, there's some, you know, lots of different things, right? But she's going out and she's shooting this B-roll, right? So this kind of thing she does really well. Like the comments on these, let me go, like 134 comments, 32 comments, 20, like all of her videos have a very engaged 530 comments, right? Have a very engaged audience. And so I think that if it just depends on who your target audience is and then what interests you in what to do. But like you just need to pick the thing and then just execute it at a super high level. You can't just say, oh, hey, I'm going to do one video a month and hope that it brings business.
What do you
Yeah,
recommend as far as quantity or like per week?
I think it depends on what you're doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, because YouTube's once a week normally is the secret sauce. Some people will do 2 when they're first starting out, but that's, I think, not always the most sustainable thing. You know, Instagram is definitely, or TikTok or short form type stuff, you definitely have to do more frequently. So you want to get to 3 to 5 times per week generally. But yeah, it kind of depends on what you're actually doing.
Thank you.
I think the consistency thing is the biggest thing, right? You know, number one, like I would sit down and kind of just write down who your ideal client is, right? Who do you really, really want to work with? And then you can literally, and then, so, all right, so you're new to Orlando, right? So, you know, do you want to work with people that are high net worth individuals, you know, that are buying second homes, whatever that looks like? Just write it all down. And then write a list of things that they would want to know, right? Or ask, you know, those, maybe, you know, some of those people, call them like, hey, if I was going to create content, like, what are the things that you want to know? Like, if you were doing this, what would you want to know? And those people, and look, I challenged Venus Howard to do this. She may or may not be on here. But you know, when she was, you know, restarting her YouTube channel, I said, hey, go call all your past clients and ask them what they would want to know. right? All the people you've worked with, just call them. Number one, since you've called them, now you know, now you've had like a touch. They feel happy that you called and reached out to them and wanted their input, right? And then you got a bunch of information about what you wanted. And then from there, make the content that you want to make. I can tell you, after 5 years of making content that's like clickbaity on Instagram, on YouTube, like I told Katie earlier, I'm getting a little tired of it. Like I just interviewed somebody about buying, how to use Bitcoin to buy homes. I'm doing another one on private equity firms and their impact on the housing market. Those are two things that are not even close to my typical content, but it's just me trying to do some things to kind of break up the monotony of doing like, here's the 15 neighborhoods to look at, right?
Yeah.
So, but you got to be able to have longevity in it. And so, you know, 4 to 5 posts on Instagram a week, or one good 10, 15-minute video on YouTube a week would be my recommendation.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Yeah.
And also, if I can add something.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh,
Of course.
So I was obviously new to New Braunfels 5 years ago, so new market for me. It all started during COVID when I did this, Facebook show called Great News New Braunfels, where I would kind of solicit people to send me things you overcame during the week or whatever. And so that became every Friday show. And then it turned into kind of forming relationships with people. But I realized that it's the same as if you were not doing videos. People work, and Tom Ferry says this best, people work with people who are just like you. So I know Ken's there, and he's got a big presence, but not, and while people might like Ken's content, they may not want to work with him. Everyone has a different personality. Like I said, people work with people who are just like them. That's straight from Tom Ferry. So that's you. Someone is going to attach to you because of your personality, because they like you. Not necessarily because you hit on all 15 points in your video, but that's going to help too. But it's going to be about, hey, she's kind of our jam. She's a good fit for us.
She likes steak and red wine. I saw her eat
Yeah,
both.
I mean,
so
it's just personality.
Well, cool. I asked Venus if she called people in the chat here. I'm calling her out because I love her. Not everyone working through the list is what she said. All right, real quick though, before we get to the end of this, I don't want to forget, Katie, you have, you said you had a special announcement for REVB you wanted to share with just my people, and then we'll let Rebecca ask her question.
Yeah. Jeremy said he would buy tickets for anyone that wanted to come to RevB. Yeah, so he just
wait a
just
second.
call him up. He'll give you his credit
I'll take
card
2,
number.
please.
Yeah. That was what you wanted to say, right, Jeremy?
And dinner, right?
I can't hear you.
He's blushing.
I can't hear you.
No.
Okay.
So, all right. Real estate video blueprint is April 24th and 25th down in San Antonio, Texas. Jeremy has graced us with his presence speaking previously. As far as YouTube, we've got Christina Smallhorn, which Jeremy and I both have taken a lot of advice from over the years. She's one of the kind of OG real estate creators on YouTube. And then we've got some great agents and practitioners that are going to be speaking on, short form content, long form content, kind of all of the things as to what's working in video today. As far as, drop it in the chat. If you are interested in coming, we have a discount code 1REAL that'll charge the discount to Jeremy as well. So he may not pay your full ticket, but he'll pay for the makeup between the full price and the discounted price. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I like some of the speakers. Neil, I'm going to be with Neil tomorrow in Phoenix, so I'm excited about him. Is Shane Bergman, is he speaking?
Shane will be speaking, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw that. Bill Olson will be on the side stage talking to a few people at the bar. Oh, he's not on here to make that joke. Damn it. Damn it.
Nice try.
In his own mind, he's speaking. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. There's so many really good speakers. Roland Osage, you're going to have him on there. Somebody I absolutely love, him and Matt Patullo. So many really good speakers. I recommend you go. I know I've already gotten a lot out of REVB. So if you haven't made plans, I would try to make plans and go. Rebecca, you're raising your hand. Still, what do you got, girl?
I listened to Tim and Ray Ellen and Katie the other day,
That's
and they were
unfortunate.
talking. I know, but
Just kidding.
I love you guys, all of you. You're my favorite. Don't worry, Jeremy. Because you're a good hugger. Ray Ellen is too. But anyway, they were talking about their talk with Jason Pantana. So Tim DM'd the video on that to me, and they talked a little about Instagram, and they talked about 11 Labs. So I have kind of two questions. If you're talking about doing 3 to 5 videos a week, are they both short and long form content? And to what extent are you using 11 Labs or some type like that to get more quantity done? Because I did videos a while back, then I was using YouTube to do it, and that was just really, really cumbersome. So I just discovered Loom, and I did my first video on Loom this week. And I was like, I had no idea it was this easy. I could even edit it. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I think if I were, and I talked to my coach, who's Patrick Ferry, who's into all of this stuff as well. And he there's like I have a Sierra website and they have all these pre-made videos. And I said, could I use 11 Labs to redo all those? And there's like a dozen of them. He said that would be a good start. So I'm just kind of curious, to what extent do you use 11 Labs? What are some of the uses you do for when you're cloning yourself? Does everybody use them? And I guess the consensus, I guess, is 11 Labs is better than Synthesia. So do you do long videos, short videos, mostly short videos? And then if you do long videos, is that more you just filming yourself? So just kind of what's the mix and what are you doing to create them?
I'm gonna let Katie take this one because I don't even know anything about 11 Labs.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's kind of
I
meant for
don't.
Katie.
So I don't use 11 Labs. I use HeyGen, just because I have a ton of credits prepaid with them. So I'm going to use those up before I make any changes because I'm really trying to not be a typical realtor this year and sign up for all the things. As far as the voiceover stuff, I will sometimes use voiceovers for like the B-roll style videos. So what like Alyssa Kernut's doing out in Spokane, like I will make similar videos to those where it's like, hey, I'm going out to a business or I'm trying something and I'll use 11 Labs for a voiceover. We're dropping a new property video next week because I'm launching a new listing next week, and I actually used 11 Labs to make like a computery type voice that's supposed to sound like hello, you did a, like Siri's talking to you kind of thing. So I used HeyGen for that. So I think that you can use it. I know Josh Rogers in Jacksonville, Florida is actually using HeyGen avatar, so it's not even him in the videos to create talking head style videos. I still think that it's a little far out to be using it for your entire content strategy. So I think it's a good supplement using AI, either avatars or voice cloning capabilities. I think if you're on Instagram and Instagram is your strategy, you should be posting 3 to 5 feed videos per week on Instagram. And then YouTube, I mean, Jeremy and Rod, you guys can have seen far more success than me with YouTube, but I would say 1 a week on YouTube is kind of the gold standard. The platinum standard would be 2, but most people can't do that for a long time.
So,
Yeah, that's the great answer. What else we got?
question for Katie. Your Instagram, I mean, stuff is awesome. I mean, all I see in the morning when I wake up, honestly, when I wake up after I work out, it's like you, Jeremy, or Bill. That's what I wake up to.
That sounds like a rough morning. I'm sorry.
Where is that where you get most of, aside from, past clients, sphere of influence and stuff, is that where you get most of your leads or a lot of your leads or some of your leads on Instagram?
We get some from Instagram. We're starting to get the DM conversations going on the Houston channel. So I'm excited to be able to give some stats on that as we start to get physical people getting in pre-approved and listings and stuff. But it's more so conversations now. But we do about 30% agent to agent referrals and 20 to 30% of client referrals. And so for me, Instagram is more top of mind realtor. I think every single time we have each other's numbers, I think anytime we've had a referral or a question or a, hey, about a neighborhood or whatever, we DM on Instagram, right? I'm wait, I have to go find Rod's number to send him a lead kind of thing. Right.
Yeah.
So that's where with the Movement of Texas channel and account, it's to stay top of mind with past clients, to stay top of mind with Sphere, to stay top of mind with agents, to keep those agent referrals and client referrals coming in.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, I'd say the same. We get, I mean, I would say 80-ish% of our business comes directly from YouTube leads. I am getting quite a few. I haven't converted any Instagram leads, but I have people we're working with now from Instagram. Whereas like 3 months ago, I did not have anybody I was really working with from Instagram, maybe like 2 a year from Instagram.
So what was the switch for you? What turned
I
it
started
on?
doing this new content and I was just like DM home if you want.
Okay.
And like I get at least 1 to 2 DMs a day that say DM home, but then I get a lot of people like start up a conversation about whatever I was talking about in that post. The other day I was like, hey, is this house worth, it was in the stories, same thing Katie said. In the stories, I was like, hey, this house is listed at 3.1 million. Do you think it's worth that? And people are like, this is terrible. And I was like, yeah, if you were to buy in Austin, where would you buy? Like, oh, and then literally I started a conversation with one of those people that is wanting to buy in Austin. So
Nice.
yeah, the stories, I think you have to do a little bit of both. Thanks everybody. I appreciate it. I got to run to team meeting right now. Katie Day, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Katie.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you, Katie.